Hey guys, Adam from New Horizon Code here, and today I'll be talking you guys over some visual elements that you can sort of set up within your application. So as you can see here, quite a common design element you'll see spread throughout websites is a frequently asked questions section, and within that you usually have some sort of drop down that triggers to expose more text around the question. So as you can see here, we've just got some basic questions about who is New Horizon Code. When we click this, it expands, and if we go here, we'll click this one and it will expand this one. There's several methods you can use to achieve this. One is this method, or this one that I'm going to recommend more, which is via a repeating group. That way you can keep all your code sort of, or rather workflows tidied up and in one place. So let's have a look at how this works. So firstly, we have our elements. As you can see, I'm just using groups, and I'm storing them within other groups to keep it all compact and wrapped in one sort of visual section. So from within here, we've got other groups, and these groups work on a trigger. So what happens here? So we start an editor workflow. When that's clicked, we set the state of the page, or in most cases you'd want to set the state of the group to be that current one, so who is New Horizon Code, and so on and so forth. The way I achieve this, and always recommend setting these things up, is via an option set. So I've got it set here, and I've got an option. I'd always recommend titling option sets like this with option first, just so it's easier to distinguish them between that and a data set. And I've just got some basic options within this. That way, we go here, we've got a list, and we don't have to worry about spelling and possibly breaking other triggers because we are not spelling something correctly. So what this does, it sets the state of the frequently asked questions page to that of the option set who are New Horizon Code. Within this group, we have a conditional that listens for that, so when frequently asked question is that we've set in the workflow, this element is visible. You'll note one thing though. When we do this, everything else hides. That's because we go into the group and then we animate and collapse the operation. We also collapse this element when it's hidden. So what happens here is when this element is no longer visible on the page due to a conditional, we'll firstly collapse it, but while we're collapsing it, we'll animate it to give it a sort of cleaner animation. We can also fade it in and out. So we'll refresh the page and have a look at that. As you can see, it doesn't work as well for this sort of thing. So we always recommend the slide in and out animation. Nextly, and my preferred method of completing these workflows is store everything in a repeating group. Repeating group gives you access to that single workflow where you can set everything up. Again, I'm using an option set here because it's not really relevant to the data. So we go into option sets and we've set up a FAQ here. Within that, we've just got two options for the sake of this demonstration. We've got the display text, which you can think of as the title. And then we've added text, and that text is just further bits to this element. So then, within that repeating group, we define the type of data as FAQ, and the data source is every FAQ within that option set. Next, we add our group, and the group's just going to be current cells FAQ. So as you guys know, with repeating groups, you get access to that current cell's data, much like an array, and you can change that around to display what you want within that one, so it'll split each one up each time. So if there was 4, for example, you'd have the first one, second one, third one, so on and so forth. In a video coming up very soon, we'll be going in depth in repeating groups, and I will walk you guys over some pretty cool tricks you can do from within that sort of container. So let's have a look at what we do here. Same sort of concept, although this group is a little bit more dynamic. And instead of one workflow for each of these, so as you know, these aren't repeating, so you need to set up a workflow for this, workflow for this. Whereas in a repeating group, we can simply go to the single one because we can't edit the other elements. And what we do is when this icon is clicked, we set the state of the repeating group to that cell's repeating group. That way, what this group is doing is listening for the title of that group to be this title. Once that's done, it is then made visible. And again, we've just got this collapse element when hidden, and we animate it. That means we only need one workflow here, guys. So instead of several, we've just got that single one, and it does the exact same job as this one would. That's everything for today's video, guys. I hope you all learned something, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions.